Okay, so it looks like the live is working properly. So this is a mission I built mainly to test this feature right here. A few patches ago we received like in our weather conditions. Like often we go like with the ones on top here, but if you scroll down to the bottom, we received some light rain features, overcast and rain, lots of different types of cloud covers. And what I like about the light rain ones is that they will give you like more or less scattered showers across the map. It's kind of hard to predict exactly where the rainfall is going to happen, but you put a little wind in the mission, and sometimes the clouds are going to move, and some areas might not have rain at the beginning of a mission, and they might get it during the mission. So it makes for the flying conditions to be a bit more interesting. And so we're testing the light rain 2 conditions. Um, and I wanted to just try it in the F4. I hadn't really flown the F4 in rain before, so I wanted to know if there were like any rain droplets on the windshield and things like that that are visible. And as I put in the description, I put in a bonus because I wanted to do the same type of mission. And for the F4, I'm dropping Mark 83s and using rockets. The only other jet I have that can actually do that, that's a bit more modern, is the F-18. And I found an interesting skin for it. So if you were wondering what my bonus surprise was, I'm just giving it away so that if you're interested in that, you stay tuned. So I'll probably do the mission once with the F4, and we'll go hit our primary target, which is like at the edge of the woods here. There's like a supply base, and there are some destroyed vehicles around and building on fire, so we'll probably be able to visually spot the area fairly well. There is some AAA possible in that area, and we could get a secondary target with orange smoke. Now, since I was talking about this smoke here, it just reminds me of something. I might have to start off something with my other bonus flights. So let me just add this for the other flight, which will be this. And for these other things, let's start the smoke. That'll happen no matter what plane hits it, so I think that's gonna be good. Okay, so there was just that one thing there just for visuals that I wanted to double check. So we'll save that. And so there. Even if I wanted to keep the surprise, it was actually in the mission name. And I had made like a nice little picture here so that we can see what the target looks like. Maybe once we're in flight we won't be thinking too much about it, but you can see that there are some technicals, some buildings and tents with trucks hiding underneath. And so it's right at the edge of the woods, and I think we can see like a cannon there. There might even be armor hiding in there. So that's the idea, is we're just going to try to bomb that position with the Mark 83s, and then we may get orange smoke called for another target. And because we have a little bit of weather, it's going to be interesting because we'll be flying in and out of the rain, which could affect visibility, and when you're targeting, that's something that can play. So hopefully it'll make for an interesting flight, and I hope you enjoy watching that. So the first one we'll go with is the F4. The mission was built for it. You'll see other F4s as well. I think I've put an F4 that's going to go hit a building close to my targets, so we might meet in midair somewhere, or I could actually follow it for the taxi part. And it is raining at the base, as you can see. Sometimes I think it'll change from one play of the mission to the other, but That's going to make it interesting. So we'll let the cockpit textures load a little bit here. And so yes, we have a pretty simple flight plan. It says waypoint 1, IP lower than 8,000 feet because you want to stay under the clouds to see what we're going to bomb. Primary target is to supply trucks under camo nets, possible armor, and pickups with Russian machine guns. Waypoint 3 will line us up for final, and then we can land at runway 09er. So you can see the list of threats. No air-to-air for this one. So we're going to focus on air-to-ground and partial rain, like I guess that's how we could call it. It's called light rain to the conditions. So that's the other F4 that I put in the mission. He's probably going to start moving soon. And I have a few decorations and things nearby. There he goes. So what I'll do is I'll set up my bombs. This is my F4. My bombs are on the center and on the outside. I also carry lots of rockets. So I'm going to set up the bombs, which are Mark 83s. We're going to drop them in dive toss. Set a spacing of 0.8. And I'll put the quantity to 9, which will drop all of them. This should be good. So there goes the F4. Maybe we'll catch him on the taxiway. I like to set this up on the ground whenever possible because sometimes in flight we're too busy. This should be pretty much what we'll be doing.
Copy.
Alright, so I think we're going to be good with that. Let's set this up. I'm going to test my control for brightness. As you can see there, it's moving. I set something up on the throttle. Make it similar to my other planes. So now we're going to taxi.
Time to go fly. Hell yeah.
Yes, Jester, we are going to go fly. I think I set the date somewhere in the 1980s just to justify having some Hueys like that and some old Southeast
We doing
Asian
some trench running on this one?
skins like the one we have. I don't think we will.
Alright.
So one of the cool things in front of us, you can see like a gray area, and you can see that the other areas are a little bit clearer. We didn't see any droplets of water in the windshield. Maybe if we switch to the F-18 later on, we'll see that. I don't know if Heedblur plans to implement it later or not, but in the F-18 and F-16 it really looks nice when it's raining. So this is something, I don't know, we'll see. We do hear the sounds though when you're flying and you fly through a little bit of rain. You do hear the clickety sounds of the rain. So I'm just going to zoom in so I can see the other F4. I don't want to run into him, but we'll just follow him. One of my previous live videos, I did the same thing where I took off and then I followed one of the other F4s. So we'll probably follow this one for takeoff. As you can see now, we're going back into the rain. We were out of it. Now we're starting to see droplets. Maybe it's not obvious in the live because the image sometimes gets blurred. So here we can see against the hangars a little bit better with the grass, the rain falling at an angle. I'm going to brake a little bit because I don't want to hit the other F4. Yeah, there we can see it pretty well. But we don't see anything like splashing on the windows. he's got a big fuel tank in the center and some bombs on the outside. He's just gonna go do a drop everything on the one building pass. When I tested out the mission like last night, I found that it wasn't as easy as I thought, because I did get hit by some AAA, but I managed to bring the plane back to base afterwards. So there he goes. Let's try to catch up with him.
Engine's good, airspeed off the peg. 80 knots. 100 knots. Gears moving. Flaps up. Gear up. 15 miles to the identification point. Looks like we've got traffic at our 1 o'clock.
Yeah, we're going in the same spot. Get myself on the waypoint. You can see the fires in the distance there, so we know that we're not super far in this mission.
10 miles to I-2.
Kind of lost my visual. Oh, he's right in front of me. He's a bit higher. Maybe the canopy is hiding me. Okay, I see him now. Let's go catch up with him.
Five miles to the identification point.
You can hear that we just are entering a rain area here. You can see also what it looks like there.
2 miles to the identification point.
We can see in front of us those white areas. Those are areas with rain. I set the autopilot just to show you, like, from the outside what it looks like. It's very white there. There's rain. There's sun in there.
Got good steering to the target point.
Alright, so we're going to follow our friend here to the targets. Flying a little bit higher than him. Kind of like to climb almost to the clouds. It's just there if you spot him there.
10 miles to the target.
And so the target is right like at the edge of the woods here. We've got a little fire, another smoke here, and a big fire there to help us know where we're going. So I'm going to try to line up with the edge of the woods. And we'll be dependent on distance more or less to get a good strike going. Looks like maybe just right after we drop our
5 miles
bombs,
to the target.
we might run into some rain. Trying to judge my angle. All right, let's go in. There are the
2 miles
targets.
to target.
Good.
Captured. No, can't do that. Steering to next point is ready.
Bombs away. Hopefully we hit. Oh yeah. That's pretty good. So we're gonna get an extra target here. And as you can see, right here there's rain. So as we come back for the other target, which is near the 2 orange smokes there, you see we have to fly through some rain. But I'm going to switch to my rockets now. Direct. We're going to bring this to 35, which is usually where I like to be for rockets. And we have those orange smokes there, which give us an indication of where our other target is. So we're going to shoot some rockets there. Oh, and we can see some AAA shooting. Maybe they're shooting at our friend. Alright, so let's turn in. Go shoot those rockets. So I think it follows the line, yeah. I'm gonna go left and right. It's gonna help me jink for those AAAs. And also because I want to line up with
We
the edge
got
of the
a
field.
friendly. 12 o'clock, 3 miles. Got
Yes.
a new bogey, right 5, 3 miles, 2,500.
Alright, so rockets away.
Good IFF, he's a friendly.
I think we got most of them. Since we do have quite a few rockets left, I think I'm gonna go back to my primary just to see if anything's left. And we'll just empty the rockets there and then fly back home. Just gonna check for fun. This area here, yeah, it looks like damaged. And this, there's a few things left there. Okay, so let's go to the edge of the woods there. Doesn't look like there's much left here. But on the F10 map there were some units on the edge of the woods. And we're empty. I thought we were empty, but we still have a few. So yeah, there's not much left apart from sandbags here. Here there are a few that are not hit, so maybe try another pass. It's gonna be dangerous because now they're nowhere here. So I'll try a dive pass on the center of the column and then try to bug out real quick. Don't want to stick around too long when there's AAA. You see, we're entering rain again. And just as we entered, we're now out of it. So it makes for interesting conditions for combat. Because you can still see the ground targets mostly. Except if they're in one of those white areas, then it probably would get quite difficult. So they're renewing the smoke. That means there are some targets left. Let's go empty those rocket pods. I should have switched them to continuous like that. There we go. Oops. Wanted to show my plane. You can see there's a lot of AAA being shot here. Sorry about the view management there. I was hoping we would see maybe some impacts, but hey, we get to see nice AAA.
I have a new bogey, left 45, 21 miles, 2000. He's not giving me an IFF response, that's a bandit.
Really? It's funny you say that, Jester, because I didn't put any bandits in the mission. I found that sometimes Jester detects the targets that are on the ground, like at our airfield. I've put this guy here, which is uncontrolled, and sometimes that would explain why he doesn't get an IFF return. But I don't know. Let's jettison those empty rocket pods just for fun. As a practice, I'm gonna go like this, and then they go. So now we're in a bit cleaner configuration to get back home. Now, already 12 miles from final, so I'll start dropping altitude. I want to be at about 4,500, so we'll go through the clouds a little bit blind with a little bit of rain. Let's look at our instruments, see where we're going. Staying on flight plan. We want to get down to about 4,500. Soon we're going to start seeing the ground below 8,000. There we go. The idea is not to panic when you're in weather. It's to to trust that you will find what you need when you get there. But yeah, really nice, like those white areas with rain, and some other areas where it's clear. And if I fly into the white, you'll see there is rain there. And it reduces visibility by quite a bit. See, there is rain all around us now. So 3 miles from final.
Turn point is updated.
All right. Let's go into land. Now, if you remember earlier, there was a little bit of rain at the base, and that's what I was afraid of. There's still rain at the base, so we're gonna have to find the base through that soup. Now I know like the town of Sanaki is around there, and I know my base is somewhere here, so I'll just try to rely on what I can see. In terms of distance, we're 10 miles. I'll wait to get the wheels down until we're a bit closer. I could trim the plane at this point. Now we see some of the rain there. Can you hear the sounds of it? Arrow points us to the right just a little bit. Six miles. Let's get the wheels down, flaps down. We spot a runway here. Distance, trying to spot a runway, and it's right in front of us. Oh. It's actually a pretty nice surprise.
Okay, gear, flaps,
runway
pressure,
right there.
warning lights, anti-skid.
So let's get our feet on the rudders.
500.
A little bit lower than I'd like to be. Let's put this in a cage so that we have some reference that doesn't move around.
Watch the traffic on our nose. 300.
Oh, is he landing too? He's just going over the runway, so
100.
we'll be fine. Oh, is he coming to land? Yeah, I think he's coming to land in that direction. I won't land in his face right there. So thank you for that, Chester. You may have avoided a crash for us. Yeah, there he is. He's coming in to land. So if he's landing in that direction, I'm guessing that this is what the tower told him to do. It looks like he's on the ground. How can we manage a turn that tight? That was a bit of a hot dog turn.
1,000. 500. 300. 100. Wow, I guess we should tell the plane captain we need a new undercarriage.
It's not my fault, I was lined up perfectly, but this guy had to show up in my face, so... See, we're gonna have to have a little talk with him in there. But cool, we managed to make it back to base. Off he goes in that direction. I think he's set to go park in one of the hardened shelters at the other end of the runway, so we're gonna go back more or less where we started. Which was between these two guys over here. How does that look? Looks pretty good to me. So normally that would be the point where I would set up my lazy shutdown. But one remark I could make is at the beginning of the mission, at this spot, it was raining. And right now it's no longer raining. So the rain has moved a little bit. So it makes for unpredictable conditions. It's really interesting. So what I'll do now, instead of shutting down, is I'll go here, I'll say quit, and then we'll come back with another plane. But you can see that there's been a lot of stuff hit there. And so I will save my track, just in case I want to use it. Just give it CAU strike. There we go. Good. So I'm going to hit fly again. And this time we'll have an interesting other plane, which is a bit more modern. Our F-18. Now when I was looking at what kind of plane am I going to take, which livery am I going to choose, I saw that there were a few fictional ones that were kind of funny. I think they have a Turkish F-18 and an Israeli F-18, but I think it was the first time I saw that there was a UK F-18, and with the colors and the weather, I felt it fit right in. So let's go see what it looks like. You see, this one we see the droplets in the window, the effect of the rain here. It's quite obvious in the F-18. So what does it look like? Yeah, it looks like this. Looks like an 80s style paint scheme from the UK. So for this one, I don't have as many bombs. I have to check setting my lights. I don't have a targeting pod for this mission. I have a centerline fuel tank, so I can set that. Get that going. Get my essay page here, set up my data link even though there's nobody linked with me. For the rockets, I like to set them in salvo, and for the bombs, we're going to go CCIP nose fuse. So that's going to be good for that. And here we're going to set up our waypoints. This is all good. This is all good. My HUD's a little bit bright, so a little bit like I did in the F4, I'm going to adjust my brightness. I like to do the same for the helmet display. And so let's taxi. Oh, my ejection seat? No, that's not it. So what is the thing? Ah, the flaps, yes, in the F-18. You don't want to leave that to auto when you're about to take off. I'm going to take off in the other direction from the F4, so I'm going to try to hurry before he does his takeoff. I think I should be fine. I didn't put a lot of wind because I didn't want it to affect the bombing too much, but I should be taking off in this direction with the wind I had put in. You can see in the F-18 as we accelerate, the rain droplets change into sliding rain. And now we're out of the rain, so let's get those gears up. And we'll probably manage to do so way before he even takes off. He's about halfway through the taxiway. So yes, we're a British F-18 now. It's got a Spitfire vibe to it. I like it. Again, just to explore the weather with something a bit different. This is an all-weather fighter, so the fact that it's a bit more modern will make the bombing much easier. But still, since I'm using CCIP, it will be a bit more of a challenge than if I was just dropping the bombs on the waypoints. I'll try to drop them individually on points on the ground. And since we're not flying formation anymore, I guess I could turn the lights off. So, whoops. I'm going to do that like this. There we go. So it's one of those pretty easy flights once in a while I just like to do to have fun. To be honest, I had an F5 mission that I did as a practice for the F5 if I want to try it with the cold start and all the different procedures. And it's a similar mission to the one that we're doing here, but as I was building one that would be an equivalent for the F4, I thought about putting these light rain clouds, and I'm quite happy with the result because it makes the mission quite interesting. Instead of just flying an easy flight where you just follow the waypoints to the target, here you get at least to see different things. So thank you, Eagle Dynamics, for these wonderful rain clouds. Makes mission creation that much more interesting. And so we're getting to our first waypoint, so we're going to switch to number 2. We're going to climb to about Angels 8. And we're going to go surprise the enemy with an F-18 that doesn't exist and bombs they aren't expecting.
Springfield 4, airborne.
So you see Springfield just took off now with his load of bombs. Let's see what that looks like. That's him right here. We're 13 miles to the target already, so we'll have a bit of a head start on him. But that also means that we're going to be the targets of the AAAs if they decide to shoot. So I have to keep that in mind. So I'm going to switch air to ground. Go back to my nav. Now you can see the CCAP symbology in the HUD. Again, I'm going to try to spot the edge of the woods are right there. I'm going to move a little bit to the left to line up a bit better with the target. See what we can do. With a cockpit like this, you have just that one rail. You have much better visibility compared to the F4. It's probably something they had learned from some of the older jets like F4, F14 with those big metal rails. I bet you some pilots complained and said, hey, the next generation of fighters you build, could you just give us better visibility? I still love flying the F4 though. It's such a nice, iconic plane, and it's a little bit more analog and more interesting to fly. Alright, so now I'm just lining things up. It's going to seem almost easy compared to the F4, but there we go. And so we're going to go bombs away, bombs away, bombs away, bombs away. All 4 bombs gone. Kaboom. And as you can see, there's not much left there. There is some AAA though shooting at me. We can see the little puffs of smoke. And now we got our orange smokes for the truck column. Really enjoy shooting those rockets on the F-18 too. Having 4 rocket pods to shoot with makes it quite interesting. And there we go, going back into the rain and out of the rain that quickly.
Springfield 4, passing waypoint 1 at 8,000.
If I go to the cloud here, probably we'll get a little bit of indication of rain, I would guess. But we're almost lined up with the, yeah, almost lined up with the targets, so we're going to dive for it. The orange smoke is actually hiding the target at this time, but I know where they are. They're on that road. We can see them a little bit there.
Altitude. Altitude.
We're now in range. And let's go. A little jank. Try to avoid the AAA. As you can see, there's not much left of that column. I could see that there were some rockets left, but not enough to matter. Just get rid of them. And so, switching to waypoint 3 as we fly through the clouds in the rain. Gonna go up. Oh, I have inlet ice. Maybe it's flying through those rain clouds a lot.
Springfield 4, passing waypoint 2 at 5,000.
So just for fun, if I go look at Mr. 4, okay, he's got his bombs. Is he gonna drop them? I think he's avoiding the AAA. Alright. Now just for fun, we'll do like we had done with the F4. We'll get rid of the rockets, but we'll also get rid of our fuel tank at the same time. So we'll put that here, hit the jettison button. As you can see, everything's dropping away. So now we have a cleaner configuration to fly back home. In our fictional UK jet. And like we did with the F4, we're going to dive through the clouds. We want to get to our waypoint at about Angels 4.5. So, goodbye world, we are disappearing in the clouds. Like I did with the F4, I will go deliberately into a rainy zone there.
Altitude. Altitude.
See some droplets of water pretty soon. You can hear the rain. And we can see it against the window as well. Alright, so let's turn around and then just head straight for the runway. Trying to line myself up on the flight plan, which should bring me in directly into land.
Springfield 4, passing waypoint 3 at 8,000.
Just for fun, I could set up my TACAN to 31. On. See, it's right there. So now we'll have a distance to TACAN. Get the TSKs for TACAN, Sukubikoki, something like that. So here we see the rain really well. Oh, a rainbow! Look! We're 5 miles out. We're gonna drop the throttle, get the speed brake out, get our gears to come down, flaps to full. There we go. Field's right there. We are a bit high, so let's drop down. Since we're coming in a bit earlier than when we were flying the F4, it seems like the rain conditions are a bit different, so it's quite interesting. Now we're on glide slope. Put the feet on the rudder pedals. Smooth. Alright. Air brake out. Air brake back in. So I think I had set up a few tents there. We're gonna go park next to the tents.
Springfield 4, passing waypoint 4 at 4,500.
Looks like those guys are waiting for us. Is this the parking for the British guests? I believe it is. That looks good. Ask the ground crew to put the wheel chocks.
Chief, place the wheel chocks. Copy. Wheel chocks are now in place.
So we've got our wheel chocks. Let's turn it off. It's actually a very good looking skin. I think they had applied a similar one to an EF2000 for the displays this year. So I hope you enjoyed the little flight, something a little bit different, flying through weather. And if we go check the primary target, a little bit like last time, there's not much left apart from sandbags. And the truck column, almost obliterated completely. There are two trucks that aren't going to go very far left. And let's go check our buddy in the other F4. He's coming in to land as well. So there is the airfield. Alright, so that's it. Hope you enjoyed.